Stop telling me, oh, well, why you separated from a cheater to go to somebody else? Because I was tired of that relationship. It's more than just cheating.
The internet is on fire again, and you already know who's right at the center of it, Cardi B. During a recent Twitter space, she dropped bombshells that have the entire industry talking. From her rocky split with Offset, to her new chapter with Stefon Diggs, and even her decision to keep their baby despite overwhelming pressure, this is the kind of story that demands our attention. So don't go anywhere. Wait and watch this clip because what Cardi revealed will leave you absolutely shocked.
Stop telling me, oh, well, why you separated from a cheater to go to somebody else? Because I was tired of that relationship. It's more than just cheating. That's the thing that y'all don't understand. Y'all don't know half of the shit. Y'all don't know most of the shit. It's more than just cheating. It was a lot. I couldn't take it no more. I had to go to a fucking hospital because I couldn't take it no more. A hospital. You have managers when you have a management and you have a label. When your management and your label is getting together because they are concerned, it's time to go. When it's affecting your work, when you can't even record, it's time to go. And I left. God damn. Me and my baby dad, my new baby dad, I guess, whatever, we always speak about how things are going to be when we have a baby. This is not just a thing that is like, oh, I'm having a baby by myself. I'm having a baby with somebody. And I told them the expectations that I want. Hey, listen, I want somebody that's there for my baby. I know you have a busy schedule. We both got busy schedules. This is what I want. And we, WE, decided to keep this baby. Okay? I'm not just a bitch that pop out baby and be like, here, mom. That's not me. And it's never been me. Yeah, I get it. Y'all want me. Y'all wanted me to marry a billionaire. Y'all wanted me to date another man. Y'all wanted me this. I understand that. Y'all want it better for me. And I get that. But guess what? This is my life. And this is my decision. And one thing about it, I do not regret my kids. None, 4 of them. I don't regret it. I have choices while I'm pregnant, and I still don't go to the chop shop. And I have a choice, and I would have done it if I wanted to, but I didn't want it to. And I know I could do this. I'm not even spazzing out. It's just like never in my life anybody have ever spoken about my motherhood, and now because I'm having a baby with another man, all of a sudden it's crazy. All of a sudden, it's crazy. How many baby moms, baby daddy, do y'all mamas have? And guess what? Even if your baby mamas have different baby daddies, I bet they some good ass moms too. Nah, like it's like us moms, we go through a lot of fucking shit, and y'all never fucking come to these fuck ass daddies. I don't know. I just feel like I've been so happy for this pregnancy, and I've been so motivated. I've been pregnant, and I've been motivated, and I've been getting the work because every single day I wake up motivated. I wake up happy. If shit is good, I get a thrill. I'm not gonna let none of y'all take that thrill from me, and I'm not gonna make me feel like I'm gonna regret I'm not gonna regret my kids because of y'all and because of you. And that's just that. And also, stop trying to make it seem like I got 100 gazillion baby daddies. I have 3 kids with 1 man that I got married with. Yes, I'm having a baby with somebody else. So what? That happens. It's life. Let me tell you something. I did things the correct way the first time. I fell in love. I got 2 rings in my finger. I lasted 7 years. 7 years that I didn't have to last with somebody with. I lasted 7 years in a marriage. Stop saying, oh, but you're still married. No, I'm legally separated. The only reason why I'm still married is because somebody wants me to pay for the taxes. Y'all want to know the tea? The only way I could get out of my marriage if I pay for somebody else's taxes, even though I pay for my own, and give them one of my properties. I'm fighting for that. I'm gonna fight for that. This is not no love shit. And like it's that I'm not gonna stop living my life because on a contract I'm practically still married because somebody wanna hold me hostage if I don't give them millions of dollars to get out of it. So that's what I'm going through in life. However, I'm not gonna live my life. Y'all want me to remarry and stuff, to have another baby and stuff like that. I'm doing things how what makes me happy. I did it the right way the first time. Guess what? When you separate from somebody, one thing about it is I don't like broken homes. I don't like broken homes. But guess what? Kids, like my kids, they don't give a fuck. You wanna know why my kids don't give a fuck? Because their life have not changed. I'm separated from their dad. It's been a year, and their life have not changed. They wake up at the same time. They have fun at the same time. They eat whatever they want. They do whatever the fuck they want. Nothing has changed. Nothing. But when you're trying to talk about trauma to my kids because I have a baby, I'm having a baby, and my baby just turned one, bro. People that happens all the time. I know I could take care of 4 kids. I could take care of 3. I could take care of 4. You're talking about trauma with my kids. The only trauma that my kids experience, you want to know the only trauma that my kids experience? That they cry when they can eat candy after 8 o'clock. Yeah, no more candy. Yeah, and guess what? The iPad got a timer. That's another thing that they be crying about. Other than that, they don't go through trauma. You want to know how my kids feel that I'm having another baby? I have it on video. You know how they feel right now? They're mad. You want to know why they're mad? Because they're arguing with each other. You want to know what they're arguing about? Wave wants a brother and Culture wants another sister. That's the only thing. But they don't care if I'm having another baby. And Blossom is right there. I have a very good, happy family. I This is not a thing where I live in LA and my kids live in New York. I live in Jersey with my kids. Okay? I see my kids go to sleep every single day. Okay? I see my kids in the afternoon every single day. I see my kids in the morning every single day. You have trauma with your family. You don't speak to your parents. I don't know whatever trauma you have with your family, but don't put that on my children. Don't put that on my kids. Because one thing about me, I bust my ass. There has not been a career day. There has not been a mom shop, because that's what they call it in my kids' school, a mom shop that I missed. There has not been a graduation that I missed. There has not been a special event that I missed. There's events that they throw in my daughter's school where I know she's gonna get on stage and she's gonna sing for 40 seconds, and I still go because it fulfills my kid. Don't talk about my kids, because I do the most biggest things for my kids and from the smallest thing. And no, just because I have money, like, cause oh, she got money, she can have all the kids that they want. I also give time to my kids. I live with my kids. Let me make that very clear. I live with my children. I live with my children. Yes, I have people that help me to make it easier for me. Because if I don't have to do certain things, why am I going to do it when I can pay for somebody to do it? The fuck? That's like you. If you could pay for somebody to do your child's hair, you're gonna pay them to do their hair, right? It's easier. But I take care of my kids. I'm always with my kids. That's why if you notice, my kids, who do my kids act like? My kids don't act like grandma. My kids don't act like their cousins. I mean, like my cousin, they help me with my kids. My kids act like Belcalis. They act like me. They talk like me because they always around me. And y'all see the type of mom that I am. You have an opinion about my personal life? Cool. But do not bring my motherhood. I don't play about that title. I take that title very seriously. I don't play about culture. I don't play about wave. I don't play about blossom. And I don't play about baby brim. I call my baby brim. We call the baby brim. I don't play about them fours. I love them. Every kick I love. I start falling in love with my babies when they inside me. Don't bring my kids up to prove no point of yours. Don't tell me, don't, people, now I'm seeing people talking about the trauma that I'm bringing. Trauma to these kids? These kids? And you know what's so funny about my kids? They are all so closed. They are all so closed. And they're gonna continue being closed. And they're not being in the house don't change shit. They don't give a fuck. What are you talking about?
For months, fans and critics alike have whispered the same narrative. Cardi B just went from one cheater to another. After confirming she's expecting a child with her boyfriend, NFL star Stefon Diggs, people online were quick to reduce her personal choices to just a headline about infidelity. But in her own words, Cardi set the record straight. She said her decision to file for divorce from Offset wasn't only about cheating. It went far deeper than that. The cracks in her marriage were devastating. And for the first time, she opened up about how those issues literally landed her in the hospital. Think about that for a second. Cardi, one of the most powerful and outspoken women in music, sitting in a hospital bed not because of an accident, but because the turmoil in her marriage reached that level. She didn't get into all the specifics, but the weight of that revelation speaks volumes. It paints a picture of a woman who's been carrying battles behind the scenes, while the world was only speculating about drama on the surface. And the truth is, her story is just beginning to unravel. Then came the moment that changed everything. Cardi spoke openly about expecting a child with Stefon Diggs. She didn't shy away from the controversy, and she didn't mince words. Cardi said, "We decided to keep this baby. I had choices when I was pregnant and still didn't go to the chop shop. I would have did it if I wanted, but I didn't want to." That's not just a statement. It's a declaration of control over her own life, her own body, and her own decisions. She made it clear this wasn't a choice made lightly. It was intentional, and she has no regrets. But here's where it gets even more complicated. While she and Stefon Diggs look forward to building this new chapter, her past with Offset is far from over. Cardi B revealed that she is legally separated, but their divorce isn't finalized because Offset is making demands she's unwilling to meet. According to Cardi, Offset has flat-out refused to sign the divorce papers unless she agrees to pay off his massive tax debt and hand over one of her properties. Imagine that. The man she's leaving behind trying to walk away with her house and her hard-earned money. And Cardi made it crystal clear. She is not going to be held hostage. She will not give millions and millions of dollars just to make him feel better about the divorce. Her exact words? She refuses to let Offset hold her hostage with those outrageous demands. And the audience listening in that Twitter space, they were eating it up. Some cheered her on for standing her ground. Others gasped at the idea of Offset playing financial tug-of-war while their marriage is already dead in the water. Now, you would think that with so much happening in her personal life, Cardi might try to stay quiet, maybe let time heal some wounds. But that's not who she is. Cardi took her critics head-on, especially those fans who have been vocal about wanting her to remarry before having another child, or pushing the idea that she deserves a better man. Her response? Bold, direct, and unapologetic. "I'm doing things that make me happy. This is my life. This is my decision." The way she said it, calm, clear, and without hesitation, shows that Cardi is no longer here to please anyone. She's no longer performing for approval. Instead, she's claiming her own freedom and making sure the world knows she's living on her terms, not theirs. And the drama doesn't stop there because the conversation turned toward her kids, and the internet had plenty to say about that too. Some critics accused her of causing trauma to her children by expanding her family while still being legally tied to Offset. But Cardi came back with the most mom-like response you can imagine, and it completely shut down the narrative. She revealed that her daughter Blossom just turned 1, and that her kids don't care about the drama. What they actually care about is whether the new baby will be a boy or a girl. Wave wants a brother, and Culture wants another sister. To Cardi, it's that simple. But then came the point that silenced even the harshest critics. People online tried to dismiss her decisions by saying, "Well, she has money. She can have as many kids as she wants." Cardi wasn't having it. She reminded them that parenting isn't just about money. "I also give time to my kids. I live with them, and I see them every day." And that line right there, it hit differently. Because no matter how big the headlines get, No matter how chaotic her public life becomes, Cardi is letting the world know that when it comes to her children, she's present, she's invested, and she's not outsourcing her role as a mother. So where does this leave us? On one hand, Cardi is fighting tooth and nail to free herself legally from Offset without losing what she's built. On the other hand, she's starting a new chapter with Stefon Diggs, standing firm in her decision to keep their child, and pushing back against the endless commentary about her private life. The question now is, can Cardi really balance it all? Or will the pressures of a public divorce, a high-profile relationship, and raising multiple kids create even more chaos? Stay tuned, because the way Cardi is handling this storm is unlike anything we've seen before, and the next twist is guaranteed to shock you even more. As the dust settles from her explosive Twitter space, fans are still trying to process everything Cardi B revealed. Because let's be honest, this isn't just about music or gossip anymore. This is about survival, power, and the fight for independence. And Cardi is giving us front-row seats to the battle of her life. One of the most striking parts of her conversation was when she explained why people are so quick to reduce her story to cheating. She admitted that yes, infidelity has always been a sore spot in her relationship with Offset. But the truth? The cheating was only the tip of the iceberg. The real cracks ran so deep that even when cameras caught her smiling at award shows or on Instagram Live behind the scenes, she was exhausted, drained, and constantly fighting to keep herself together. And when she said that her marriage issues once led her to the hospital, that detail alone shook the room. Think about the weight of that. How many women stay silent about the impact toxic relationships have on their physical and mental health? Cardi was brave enough to say it out loud. Her marriage had her breaking down to the point her body literally couldn't take it anymore. That's not drama for clicks, that's pain in its rawest form. And then, in classic Cardi fashion, she pivoted to something that stunned everyone. She opened up about her pregnancy with Stefon Diggs and made it clear that this was no accident, no forced decision, and no PR stunt. She and Stefon made this choice together. Cardi told her audience that even though she had choices, she wanted to keep the baby, and that she refuses to live her life dictated by critics who think they know better. That choice sparked massive debate online. Some praised her strength, while others labeled it reckless, especially given her ongoing legal battle with Offset. But Cardi, being Cardi, refused to bend. She doubled down, saying, "I had choices. If I wanted to end it, I could have. But I didn't, and I don't regret it." That statement, bold and unshaken, reminded everyone that she has always owned her narrative, no matter how messy it gets. But here's where things take a darker turn. Cardi revealed the conditions Offset set for finalizing their divorce, and they are nothing short of shocking. Not only is he demanding that she cover his tax bills, but he's also allegedly insisting she hand over one of her properties. To fans, it feels less like a divorce negotiation and more like a ransom. Offset refusing to sign the papers unless she pays up paints him in a manipulative light. And Cardi wasn't afraid to call it out. She said outright, "He's trying to hold me hostage unless I give him millions and millions of dollars." Imagine being trapped in a marriage you've already emotionally walked away from. But your freedom has a price tag. That's the reality Cardi is living right now. And for those who once romanticized Cardi and Offset as hip-hop's ultimate couple, this revelation was like ripping the veil off a fairy tale. It's ugly, it's bitter, and it's far from over. What makes it even more emotional is how Cardi addressed her fans directly. She knows people talk. She knows some wish she'd remarry before expanding her family, or hope she'll find a better man. But Cardi wasn't having it. Her voice was steady as she said, "I'm doing things that make me happy. This is my life. This is my decision." Those words weren't just defiance, they were liberation. And let's not forget the children in all of this. Critics accused Cardi of causing trauma by having another baby in the middle of such chaos. But Cardi pushed back with a mom's truth. Her kids don't care about divorce drama or internet gossip. Blossom just turned 1, and what the kids really want to know is simple. Wave wants a little brother and Culture wants a little sister. In their world, it's about playtime, siblings, and family, not the noise adults are making online. But Cardi didn't stop there. She reminded everyone that being rich doesn't mean she's disconnected from the responsibilities of motherhood. I also give time to my kids. I live with them, and I see them every day. That single line silenced critics who claimed she was only buying her way into parenthood. Because for Cardi, it's not about the money. It's about presence, love, and showing up for her kids even in the middle of a storm. And yet, with all of this swirling around, pregnancy, divorce demands, internet backlash, Cardi seems strangely calm, almost like a woman who has already decided her next move. But here's the question that keeps everyone hooked. Can she actually untangle herself from Offset's grip without losing the empire she built? Or will his demands force her into a corner where she has to choose between her freedom and her fortune? As the revelations from Cardi B's Twitter space continue to echo across the internet, one thing has become crystal clear. This isn't just a celebrity relationship saga. It's a battle for dignity, for control, and for the right to live life on her own terms. And in the middle of it all, there's a new chapter unfolding with Stefon Diggs that might just reshape everything we thought we knew about Cardi's future. When Cardi first confirmed her pregnancy with Stefon, many fans cheered. They saw the glow in her face, the excitement in her voice, and thought maybe, just maybe, this was her fresh start after years of heartbreak and chaos. But others weren't so quick to celebrate. The whispers began. She left one cheater for another, they said. The narrative painted her as someone doomed to repeat the same cycle of betrayal. But Cardi, never one to sit back and let the internet dictate her story, fired back. She told listeners flat out that her marriage to Offset was never just about cheating. Yes, the infidelities hurt, but the cracks ran deeper than outsiders could ever imagine. Stop thinking this is about one thing, she said with conviction. And when she admitted her marriage struggles had landed her in the hospital, fans realized they had underestimated just how toxic things had gotten behind closed doors. Now, with Stefon, Cardi is drawing a line in the sand. She said their decision to keep their baby was mutual, intentional, and born from love, not obligation. "We decided to keep this baby," she said. That phrase hit hard, because for all the rumors and criticism, Cardi made it clear this child wasn't an accident or a mistake. It was a choice, one she's embracing wholeheartedly. But here's where the drama thickens. With Offset dragging out the divorce, demanding her money and property, some fans wonder, is Cardi stepping into the same trap with Stefon? After all, Diggs has faced his share of scandals and whispers in the sports world. And yet, Cardi seems unbothered. She's moving forward, carrying her pregnancy proudly, even as the storm rages around her. And you know Cardi? She doesn't shy away from addressing her critics head-on. To those saying she should have remarried first, she clapped back, "This is my life. This is my decision." And to those questioning whether she's damaging her kids by expanding her family, she shut it down with motherly authority. Her kids don't care about divorce papers or internet narratives. They care about whether their new sibling is a boy or a girl. For Wave, it's about having a brother to wrestle with. For Culture, it's about another sister to share secrets with. To them, this isn't scandal. It's family. But let's pause here, because while Cardi's words feel empowering, there's an undeniable weight beneath them. Think about what she's really saying. She's refusing to let Offset dictate her future, even if it means wading through public criticism and legal chaos. She's declaring that she won't be held hostage by demands for millions or properties. That level of defiance comes at a cost, and fans are left wondering just how much Cardi is willing to sacrifice to keep her freedom intact. Meanwhile, the internet is split. Some are calling her brave, unapologetically carving out her happiness in a world that constantly tries to box her in. Others are calling her reckless, accusing her of prioritizing love and rebellion over stability. And in the middle of this firestorm, Cardi keeps doubling down, unafraid of the backlash. It's messy, it's raw, but it's also undeniably real. The most haunting part? Cardi's insistence that she has no regrets. Not about keeping her baby with Stefon, not about walking away from Offset, not about living on her own terms, even if it means disappointing fans or fueling gossip blogs. In her own words, "I'm doing things that make me happy." And that might be the most dangerous weapon Cardi has in her arsenal. the refusal to bend, even when the world demands it. But here's the question lingering in every fan's mind. Can Cardi maintain this balance, defending her independence, protecting her children, building her family with Stefon, and fighting Offset in court, all at the same time? Or will the pressure eventually crush her? As the dust settles on Cardi B's fiery admissions, fans can't help but zero in on the complicated tug-of-war happening in the background: the divorce. This isn't just a simple signature on paper. No, this is a full-blown battlefield where millions of dollars, properties, and pride are on the line. And at the center of it all is Cardi's refusal to give in to Offset's demands. Think about this for a second. Offset is allegedly refusing to sign the divorce papers unless Cardi agrees to pay off his looming tax debts and hand over one of her hard-earned properties. It's a staggering request. It paints the picture of a man who isn't ready to let go unless there's something big in it for him. And for Cardi, that demand isn't just outrageous, it's insulting. After years of emotional turmoil, after countless moments of public embarrassment, she's expected to essentially pay her way out of the marriage? For Cardi, that's a hard no. She said it herself. She will not be held hostage. She will not allow Offset to chain her future to his debts or to hold her properties over her head like bargaining chips. And in a moment of sheer defiance, she drew the line in bold, unshakable ink. "I'm not giving him millions and millions of dollars. I'm not putting my life on hold for this," she declared. That one statement flipped the narrative. Fans realized this isn't just a divorce. This is war. But what makes this battle even more compelling is the timing. Cardi is pregnant with Stefon Diggs' child while still legally tied to Offset. The optics alone are enough to keep social media spinning for weeks. Some fans are accusing her of being messy, saying she should have finalized everything before moving on. Others see it differently, as a bold act of rebellion, proof that Cardi is taking control of her life, refusing to let legal red tape dictate her happiness. And let's not forget, Cardi has been under this kind of microscope before. From her days rising out of the Bronx, to the scandals of her marriage, to the constant feuds that keep her name trending, she's no stranger to scrutiny. But the stakes feel different this time, because this isn't just about her career, it's about her children, her legacy, and her freedom. Now, let's take a closer look at her comments about parenting. Cardi wanted it known loud and clear. Being wealthy doesn't mean she's a detached parent. "I also give time to my kids. I live with them and I see them every day," she said. That statement was more than just a rebuttal to critics. It was a direct shot at the narrative that fame and fortune make her a distant mother. She wants her fans to understand that she's present, hands-on, and deeply connected to her children's daily lives. And yet, while she insists her kids don't care about divorce papers or adult drama, fans can't help but wonder, what about the long-term impact? Will growing up in such a whirlwind affect them later? Cardi brushes these concerns aside, but it's clear this is a question she'll face again and again as her family grows under the glare of the spotlight. Then there's the romantic angle. Cardi and Stefon Diggs' relationship is now cemented by a child, a decision that Cardi emphasized was mutual. But can this new bond survive the constant comparisons to Offset? Can Stefon withstand the inevitable headlines painting him as Offset 2.0? Cardi seems confident, but history has shown us that love in the limelight rarely comes without cracks. And here's where the cliffhanger deepens. What happens if Offset continues to stall? What if he never signs those papers without a payout? Does Cardi drag this fight into court? Does she expose even more secrets to force his hand? And how will that impact her fragile peace as she prepares to bring another child into the world? The truth is, Cardi is juggling more than most people could ever imagine. She's balancing a pending divorce, a new pregnancy, a high-profile romance, a music career, and the unrelenting criticism of millions of fans and haters. And while she appears strong, unwavering, and unbothered, every empire has cracks. The question is, will those cracks widen before she finds closure? So here we are, standing at the edge of one of the most gripping chapters in Cardi B's story yet. On one side, you've got a woman determined to live on her own terms, refusing to be boxed in by divorce demands, societal expectations, or relentless critics. On the other side, you've got Offset, her estranged husband, her co-parent, and a man who, according to her, won't let her walk away without a fight. And caught right in the middle? The fans, the kids, and the future of her empire. Let's be real. Cardi B has never been one to follow the rules. When the world said she couldn't make it in rap, she did. When people tried to shame her past, she owned it and flipped it into power. Now, as the world questions her choices as a mother, a partner, and a woman, she's once again taking control of the narrative. "This is my life. This is my decision," she declared. And with those words, she reminded everyone watching, this is a Cardi B story, not a fairy tale designed to make her critics comfortable. But let's pause for a moment and look at what this means for her kids. Cardi insisted they're not concerned about drama, only excited about whether their new sibling will be a boy or girl. Blossom just turned 1. Wave is dreaming of a little brother, and Culture is rooting for a sister. To them, it's not about divorce, taxes, or Offset's demands. It's about family. And maybe, just maybe, that's Cardi's greatest point. While the internet debates, her kids live in a world where their mom is present, involved, and focused on their happiness. Still, the Offset standoff looms like a shadow. What happens if he never budges? What happens if the tax bills, the property demands, and the refusal to sign drags on for months, maybe even years? Cardi has made it clear she's not giving in, but legal battles can drag on endlessly, costing time, money, and emotional energy. And let's not forget, Offset is no stranger to playing the long game. Meanwhile, her pregnancy with Stefon Diggs represents not just a fresh start, but also a new kind of test. The world will watch their every move, comparing, analyzing, and speculating whether Stefon is truly different. Cardi insists that their decision to keep the baby was joint, intentional, and filled with love. But skeptics are already whispering, can this love withstand the chaos swirling around them? Or will Stefon eventually find himself entangled in the same storm that consumed Offset? And then there's Cardi's career. With all this personal drama unfolding, where does her artistry fit in? Will she channel this pain, this strength, this defiance into her next project? Or will the constant personal headlines overshadow her music, making her more of a tabloid figure than an artist? If history is any indication, Cardi will use the chaos to fuel her art. But the industry is ruthless, and the public can be fickle. One wrong move, one more scandal, and the tide could shift. It's also worth considering the bigger picture. Cardi isn't just a celebrity, she's a cultural force. Her decisions, her outbursts, her honesty, they spark debates about women's autonomy, family, money, and fame. Whether you love her or hate her, you can't ignore her. And maybe that's the point. Cardi isn't trying to be perfect, she's trying to be real. So, as we close this chapter, one thing is clear. Cardi B is standing at a crossroads. Will she finally break free from Offset's grip and secure her independence once and for all? Will her new family with Stefon Diggs bring her the peace she's been craving? Or will the weight of it all, divorce demands, public criticism, pregnancy pressures, crash down harder than ever before? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. Cardi B isn't backing down. She's not folding under pressure. She's not handing over her millions or her properties. And she's not letting strangers on the internet dictate how she lives her life. The Bronx-born superstar is writing her own story. One headline, one decision, and one baby at a time. So buckle up, because if history has shown us anything, the Cardi B saga is far from over. And trust me, the next chapter will be just as explosive, just as unpredictable, and just as unforgettable.